Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
What is going on? Happy Thursday. We got some crazy AI pump going on. It's going to be a wonderful day. Let's take a look at the charts, the news, and all that good stuff today. Otter Gang Takeover, classes in session. What's going on, guys? Today is going to be a great show. We got the Otter Gang taking over, but also I got some assistants coming in. My man.
Okay, OC's back.
I can take over if you want me to.
Yes, take over. Tell him yes.
Yes, go.
All right.
I feel like we're back. Can we?
Yes, the internet issue has been resolved. We're good to go.
All right. Well, then we'll keep going with you guys. Let me change then.
Are we back?
I feel like we're back.
We're back.
We are back. Everything is being broadcasted right now.
Oh, we're being broadcasted right now. Oh my God. No panic. We're back. OC, do your hair. I just did my eyebrows while we had a little bit of a break. What's going on, guys? Sorry about the technical difficulties. Sometimes internet's not our friend, but we got the maple syrup and we stuck it all back together and we're good to go. You know how it works. Sometimes there can be a little bit of issues. So we are back. He's got his tinfoil hat on. We're going to be all right. We're going to get through this show no matter what. We continue to push on. We got a lot of good alpha for you guys. Nonetheless, OC, how are you doing today, man? You look a little bit tinfoily. What's going on?
I just was trying to get some signal here. Seems like we lost the war against Elon Musk today. I haven't paid my bills, I guess. I'm just kidding. Not much. I mean, doing fantastic. So far, so good. Seems like we are in a battle to see who has the best hair. I'm betting on you, brother.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. I didn't even comb it. I just kind of went like this morning and then bang, I don't know. Like sometimes it just happens that way. But let's jump into this. We got to fill the show up and bring some alpha to everybody in the chat. Shout out to you guys who waited. Man, Justin Eubanks, Gia, Crux of Cripple, RS Miller, just Mike Play. Thank you guys for being here. Jay, Eric Wallen, I'm sorry, I don't have that chart for you, bro. And all the people here, a mellow fellow, we were frozen, but we are back in action. Thank you guys for holding out. I mean, Bitcoin is flying. We're giving OC a little bit of FOMO, but let's jump into the economic calendar as we normally do. So let's do that now. Let's switch over to my screen and get you guys this alpha. Oh, he's got to share my... I got to share my screen. Okay, we're doing this on the fly. We'll be good to go. We're good to go.
By the way, Alex, we
yeah,
just broken that resistance you were talking about on Bitcoin. We're heading to my resistance.
Oh, this is gonna be good. So today we got Jerome Powell. He's talking again. I mean, this guy only makes $200,000 a year, and yet he has the weight of the world on his shoulders. So that's pretty funny. Jerome Powell. Good luck today on your testimony. And, we got to include that Canadian balance of trade. No, I'm just kidding. We're not that important. We're like, I don't know. It's Canada. So just Jerome Powell today on his testimony. Now we'll go over to the bubbles here. Now on the daily, look at this, guys. We were talking about an AI pump. Look at render, guys. This is crazy, okay? This is an amazing, amazing pump that we can see here. We got a pump from Injective and Near, and that other one, AGIX and FET here. Massive
RNDR
pump.
also.
RNDR, yeah, render. That's all pumping. And I mean, it's looking pretty good right now in the bubble world. So, I mean, I don't think the bubble's gonna pop today, but it's looking like it wants to continue its move upwards. Now, we got to pay tribute to our friend, our fellow commander, Tradefly, with the liquidation heat map. Okay, so with the liquidation heat map, let's go over to 1 week here so we can get a bigger look at this chart here, and we can see that there is some liquidity lying above here around 70,000. So it looks like it might want to do a top sweep before heading down. We know that there is a bunch of liquidity down below, but it seems to have cleared the path here for some upwards movement after that massive 10K dump. Okay, so knowing where the liquidations lie and where we can spot, like we clearly know that there is tons of longs down below 50,000. This tells us, right? But right now we've had that sweep and it's allowed the price to pump up, right? So it's got all those leverage traders out and it looks like it has some room to the upside. Now let's go over to the liquidations. As Piper normally says, use a stop loss, guys. But right now it hasn't been too bad, right? It's been a bit of chop sideways on Bitcoin. So in the last 24 hours, there's only been 210 million wrecked, which is, chump change, right? Like it's just only 210 million. So that's what we got for the Bitcoin liquidations. What do you think, OC? Let's go back to the duocam and let's talk about this. We know that there was a big scam wick that knocked a whole bunch of people out. And now it seems like it wants to continue upwards. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, that is to be expected. I mean, there's nothing weird about it. And we've been seeing this in the crypto space, especially, and let me say that again, especially on the crypto-driven news, right? Or a crypto narrative news, right? At this point, we have seen that we've been pushing on the AI. And I mean, well known that we know that AI is taking over the world. But if we combine them both, like AI and cryptocurrency, we can have many actors right here in the game that are willing to take some profits and also make some liquidity out of us, right? I mean, remember, there are whales, market makers, that they don't care whether they move the market unless they make some money. So, I mean, that is to be expected. Tons of volatility, especially now that we're getting close to the Bitcoin halving event. I believe that is going to be a great, a ton of volatility all across the board. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that supply going from 900 to 450 is going to be shocking, considering they're saying, I'm not 100% sure, but we are eating up 12 times that of the supply. So supply and demand, very simple. Less supply, more demand means higher prices, right? Let's go over and talk about this injective news. Now, I talked about this yesterday, how I had bought injective, right? And it's important for us as investors and traders to be transparent with our communities. That's why I'm part of this community. That's why I have my own community, but it's so important. Obviously it's not financial advice, but it is important to put our money where our mouth is, right? So injective, INEVM layer 2 launches on mainnet targeting more Ethereum, Cosmos, and Solana collaboration, right? The quick take here is billing it as the first Ethereum virtual machine rollup capable of achieving true composability across Cosmos and Solana. Injective launches INEVM on the mainnet. With INEVM, Injective wants to establish, not this guy, wants to establish a network of electro chains. That sounds pretty cool. Aimed at expanding its layer 2 ecosystem and enhanced interoperability with other blockchains. So this seems to be quite bullish for Injective, and it's saying that it fits Injective right into Solana and Ethereum. So this is going to be great for developers it's talking about to deploy their applications, such as decentralized exchanges on Injective without the need for code alterations, right? So what are your feelings on Injective if you want to go back to the duocam?
Absolutely. So my feelings on Injective are very mixed, right? I mean, for some part, you guys know that I'm basically out of cryptocurrencies, right? On one of my wallets. I sold it, almost everything. I'm still holding a little bit of one of the most important, but one of the ones that I sold out was Injective. Why? Because I believe that we are into a cycle just now, and despite we could be going, higher. I do believe that a pullback on Bitcoin might be leading the way in the upcoming movements. Nonetheless, I'm not counting on that Bitcoin pullback to drive the coins, but I am counting on the Bitcoin V-shaped recovery that we might be seeing in the next upcoming pullback that draws liquidity out of these other coins. And what are the most narrative-driven coins at this point? I believe they are AI. So that's what I'm moving careful. I'm kind of like entering at crazy support and exiting as soon as I can until we see the Bitcoin halving and then seeing the dominance flipping back against Bitcoin. That is when I'm going to be looking for the next top 100 to be remake. And I absolutely think that Injective will be shining its way through. I mean,
Yeah.
all AI coins, I mean, they're gonna be pumping like crazy. That's is not a financial advice. That's only an opinion. But I believe that right now is not the time to trade them so thoroughly, right?
Yeah.
But although going and holding it, I'm building up my way to hold a little bit more on Injective and Render, by the way. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes completely sense. Yeah, I did buy Injective, and I am, GameFi is going to be, games are difficult. There's so much money in the gaming industry. However, the game really needs to perform, right? So for me, the Injective play is because it's at one of the highest market caps for the gaming narrative. I think just overall it's going to be used, and I'm not looking for massive gains where you would look for like a small token within the gaming narrative. It's more of like a large play on the whole ecosystem itself. If we want to jump over to my news article here, now this is pretty interesting. Is Tesla buying Bitcoin again? BTC Wallet data sparks curiosity. Some users speculated that Tesla might be buying Bitcoin and could reveal it during its next earnings call, while others believe it could be an accounting error. Guys, if Tesla, if Elon, the man himself, announces that he is buying Bitcoin, we know what this guy puts up a picture of a dog on Twitter, on X, as the symbol, and what happens, right? So the narrative for this could be astronomical. What do you think about if Tesla puts Bitcoin on its balance sheet, OC?
So we have seen that in the past, right? I mean, of course, the market cap was way lower than it is today, and right now it takes a lot of more money to start moving stuff. But absolutely, we could be seeing a rush. But now that we have an ETF, he needs to be very careful on what he does because he could be held accountable for, I mean, something that he might not want to. Although on his persona, I believe that he can basically do whatever he wants. All right, or mostly I keep doing whatever he wants, right? As we've been seeing in the past, like those indirect calls. And I believe Elon, and again, I mean, I have nothing against him, but I believe that he's going to keep playing around with this market, which, by the way, that could be a great opportunity for both ways. So I am following Elon on his network.
we gotta, yeah. I mean, I'm holding my Tesla bags, and like they've gone down, but I'm just like, whatever, man. This guy's got these robots
Yeah.
coming. Hopefully they do well. Now the big story of the day, guys, AI. Okay, AI is flying. It's flying. So we know NVIDIA. We know about these chips. We see it in our daily lives. All these new thumbnails with people having crazy pictures all of a sudden, and with people having cautionary deep fakes, these voice alterations, TikTok, all these things, like all these use cases, Chat GPT. And now we're seeing massive adoption for these AI narrative tokens. And I definitely hold a huge bag of render. So what is your thoughts, OC, on this crazy pump that we are getting from the AI
All right,
tokens?
there is I don't quite remember how's it called. I was actually investigating a little bit on my tinfoil hat theories about this because I do have a very strong opinion about AI. All right, so here it goes. I believe that AI it's amazing at this point, and it's a good early entry. All right, but be careful because I believe that it's going to happen like it has happened before on many other coins. That we're going to be seeing crazy rally to the upside and then a crazy rally to the downside, and that has to do with AI developments. All right. So right now we have OpenAI, we have Google, we have even Elon Musk or Twitter developing some AIs, right? And I mean, right now we're early on that curve, but we are getting very, very close to getting onto what is humanly possible on development, just like it happened with graphic cards and chips, all right? There is something that I'm actually waiting for that might be happening throughout this cycle. I believe that is highly improbable, but I'm gonna be learning out of my mistakes. And like I thought, Bitcoin ETF was highly improbable to be approved. I also gotta be reserving my opinions or being careful more than thing on this event, which is with AI combining with NVIDIA and some rendering engine. So
Hmm.
when we see that trio getting together, like for example, I don't know, Render, Unreal, and NVIDIA, well then we know we are onto something because at that point we could be rendering with the power of blockchain, and cost of rendering might be spread all across the globe, and that may bring new capabilities all across the rendering world. And I'm telling you because I was a specialist on CGI, on architecture. So I mean that
So
is my
you
grown
have that
opinion on that area.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that it's gonna be blowing out like crazy when they do that parody.
Absolutely. No, I think AI is such a big narrative now, and we can see how crazy NVIDIA has been and the adoption curve with all the the big companies getting into it, and it's just inevitable, right? It's inevitable, but it's also an investing opportunity for us to try to position ourselves within these tokens that we do believe the narrative can play out, right? Not necessarily. Like, sometimes the use case doesn't play out, but we look at meme coins, we look at all these different kind of tokens, and we can definitely see that these narratives drive price through the roof, and then you get retail FOMO, and it's just we just saw it with the meme coins 3 days ago, 4 days ago, right? We see everybody buying dogs, cats, frogs, chickens, all these things, right? So it it just shows you that
Plug plug.
people are here to capitalize, and if one if one of these AI coins not only gets the narrative, but it also has use case, it's going to be pretty astronomical. So we're gonna get into some charts now. I got Bitcoin pulled up right now. And if you guys in the chat, much love to every single one of you: Elo Brown, Crypto Pollo, Alexandra G, French Toaster, Crux of Crypto, all you guys, Jay, Broke Oshi, Need No Dinero. I love it. I love it. D Jetty from the blockchain, Piper's in here, keeping a close eye on us. Trade Intuition. If you guys want to throw any altcoins, we're going to take a look at some AI. If you want to pull up an AI token first, OC, that would be great. And I will go over Bitcoin right now and what I'm looking at. And I said it was going to pop, but it came back down. Oh my God, look at this, OC.
What I told you right before the show. We had
right before the show. Look at this guy. This guy has a crystal ball. Don't listen to me. I said we're gonna pop off, and he's like, I think there's resistance at 68,000. Well, OC, you were right. We are falling back into
We,
this.
we need to be fair about this because guys, this is what I love about Alex. He was still going. I mean, we was talking about FOMO coin before the show because is blowing up. It's blowing up. It's moving. And I'm just losing my head. I'm looking at 4 hours and he's looking at 15 minutes and he says, "I'm telling you, brother, it's gonna blow up." And I'm telling you, it is not moving, right? Because we're looking at different charts. So what he was expecting play out perfectly. And what I was also expecting, it play out perfectly. What I believe, it
Yes.
is a great combination between lower time frames and higher time frames. So,
Absolutely.
Alex, thank you, brother.
That's the one, man. See, that was like a breakout trade for me on the 15. Very easy trade, right? Also had the longer trade set up last night that we were looking at, and that was holding this as support. So we've been crushing it as a community. But however, we did get that rejection perfectly on your 4-hour chart. So going over to a longer term time frame, for me right now, I understand that there is a possibility for a liquidity grab, right, on Bitcoin. I'm looking for a liquidity grab somewhere around this 68,500 area because I'm not convinced of this top here. Okay, yes, we came double topped here for that all-time high move, but we V-shaped recovery, and now we are flagging out. Okay, so within this flag, I'm looking for more consolidation sideways. We had a giant fake out today on the 15-minute. Where we can see we're forming in this wedge. We've popped out, we've come back in. So I expect a little bit of consolidation. And then I have a level down here for a little bit of fake out to the downside around 64,600, where I'll be looking to possibly buy. Okay, so that's my idea for Bitcoin. But overall, Bitcoin, as long as it remains sideways and it holds here, I do believe we are bullish until we come up to about 72,000. Now that may be crazy, but that's a simple extension of a flag of the consolidation of our previous range over here. If we just look at this range over here, and if we pulled the flag from down here all the way down to here, and we extended that out, we can see that we want to get up around this 72,000-ish area. But for me right now, it's about being patient. Let the price come to you because we've had so much FOMO. Like, it's crazy to think, even my grandmother, right? They get a newspaper and it's very, very like the mainstream news, right? And they got an article in there that said Bitcoin is going down. Okay. What does that tell you? They're telling you they don't want the general public to know that Bitcoin in the last 2 months has gone up like this, okay? They don't want you to know about this, okay? They don't want you to see this. They want you to be like, oh my God, there was a 10K drop when it hit its all-time highs. That's what they want you to believe because they want you to be scared. So us with our whatever diamond hands can be prepared by following channels like mine and Piper's, but mostly Piper's because Piper is always here in the morning giving you guys the alpha, okay? But we can always be prepared by setting ourselves up for success on these long-term time frames and understanding the narrative of which way we are headed into this halving event and bull run. Does that make sense, OC?
Absolutely. Perfect sense.
Let's jump over to your chart. What do you got for me there, brother?
All right, so I do have a little bit of a different perspective here. You can see right there I have my resistance. We went right to it. Like, look at that perfectly. And I was telling you, but also you were telling me. So it actually played out very well both ways. So I'm really, really happy about this. So the only thing that I'm looking at here is that we have smart money making pressure on the sellout point right here. And also, since we have this rejection, I don't want to be so quick about judging this, but I believe I'm going to be moving this all the way up to cover onto, let me just remove that, onto this week and also onto this other week to start moving that symmetrical triangle or symmetrical-ish triangle, all right? I do not see so much of a pull, but if I would have added a pull, I would add it all the way maybe down there, basically putting us up in a crazy rally to the upside. And why am I skipping this part? Because we went below that area, basically making it that 50% retracement on the whole pole when we're seeing something like a bull flag. Nonetheless, this is a little bit on the hopium side, but we can see that everything is possible with Bitcoin. Again, I'm not saying that's going up. In fact, I am expecting a little bit of a pullback, a fake out to the downside, going to this 100% area, faking everybody, going to be having that 30% retracement, and then having a V-shaped recovery and rallying to the upside. In fact, I was talking about that with Alex yesterday after the show. And That's why I went out of the altcoins, because when that happens, I believe that we're going to be having a big pullback on the altcoins, and that will be my chance to load back my holding backs. On the let's take a look at here on some of the AI driven coins. So we have NEAR, we have BitTensor. Oh, nice one. We have Render, we have GRT. But let me take a look at Fetch AI. Why? Because it was requested right here on the Piper Academy, and I was drawing some pips there with Piper's strategy. And I want to show you that we've been nailing it over and over and over. For that, let me just click in here. Let me just close this one, make it as big as possible. And I was telling you guys that I was expecting a little bit of a ranging area right here, and then going back to this golden pocket for a possible breakout. What happened is that ranging area was shortened for a lot, for maybe half of the way, and then we broke to the golden line, went back almost to this other golden ratio, right? Retested, and then off we go to the races. Yesterday we were breaking this area right here, and also testing this area. Now we see a pullback. This is what I was expecting and waiting for. We have a red tick right here, which indicates me that we are overextended on the trend. All right, we haven't changed the trend, because look, our prime score, it's 8, and our consolidation score, it's very, very low. What I want to see is a formation, a pattern being built up in here, which is going to be giving me the heads up for a possible re-entry. Again, if I decide to re-enter on Fetch AI, I will be very careful, because again, what I stated on Bitcoin might be going for a fake out and pushing these areas for entry. So I will be dividing my entries. One entry will be somewhere around, if I see the formation, somewhere around 247. The next possible entry will be somewhere around 209. And last entry that I'm going to be looking at, it's at 190. So those are the entry points that I'm looking for. They are based on the Fibonacci extensions, and also in a possible bullish pennant or bullish flag that we could be having right here forming. So we have a reversal, waiting for a continuation, but of course for a pullback. It comes the weekend, very close to the weekend, so let's strap on.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. That's massive. So I got Render pulled up here, and I mean, Render has moved, man. Render has moved. I mean, we were buying down at $4, and it's crazy to look at the bags and be like, wow, it's pumping up and all that stuff. But when looking at Render, you can see that it was forming this downwards channel here. It broke out the retest, right? So you can see if you made this tight enough, even on like a 4-hour, I always talk about this, is how we can see a downwards channel, right? We wait for the breakout. Even though we got that massive dip down, we got the breakout, the retest, and then the astronomical move. Okay, so there is ways to trade this. However, we did have key levels, and look at the key level. Like I haven't changed this. This is like bang on, right? So it shows you the TA works. We always love evidence. Okay, it looks like we just squiggle on our drawings. However, when the TA works this good, you're like, okay, maybe there's something to all of this, right? It allows you to create confidence in how you're doing your charting. So you can see here, we have this breakout for Render. How do we find, because we are in price discovery. If we zoom out here, we can see that Render is now in price discovery, right? So when in price discovery, there's two ways that I like to find price. So you can do a trend-based fib, right? So you go swing low to swing high to swing low, and you can do it that way. Or you can do a simple fib extension from your retracement tool. So you can pull from swing high to swing low, and you can see here for your take profits, it works so well, but your first take profit would be this 272, and then look at this 1618, calling the top of this quite perfectly, right? So it's amazing to see how the TA has worked. We are establishing, let's say, a flag right now, and let's see if we can continue this to the upside, looking extremely bullish. Let's see what Render thinks it's worth and put its money where its mouth is on this price discovery. So for me right now, it's about being patient. If we are looking to add or buy Render right now, what I typically suggest to my community is that we look for retests of the possible high. So I draw a box there. We had this beautiful support here. So now I'm looking for a retest of this possible high. And then I would go and I'd take a fib from the start of the move to the top of the move, right? So we get this breakout, the retest, the start of the move starts here all the way up to here. And then I'd be looking for a 382/0.5 continuation pattern. You got one here. So, and then the 618's here. So it matches up quite nicely. You can add like a 382 to your chart here, and you can just, for me, it's about being patient, drawing your next momentum trend line, which would be down here. And you can also trade this breakout of this trend line to the upside as well. So render's looking quite nice. Amazing move for these AI tokens, and it looks like it's going to continue to pump. What do you got for me, OC? What's next?
I see a bull flag right there, almost beautifully playing out on your chart. So I'll be very careful with that one because your prediction might be right on spot. So I'm gonna be taking notes of that. So take a look at the next one near USD. So we were analyzing this one, and as you can see, we've been trading it for a long time since very far below. So it's now to kind of get rid of everything here and start clean with what we got. All right. So at this point, I was making a little bit of a daily analysis, and I was expecting all the way here to this trend line and maybe a possible rollout in here. What happened is that we ended up breaking up. Remember, it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, secondary retest. There we go, and off to the races. So right now we're compressing on the cloud right down here. We're seeing that pullback on daily also. Let me just clear everything up now, and we can see that secondary candle basically going back down here. We can see that we are back on retracement. If we can analyze where we are right now and go farther back down, we'll see, let me bring this one up, that we are right on previous highs all the way up here, right? So what is the next big support? Come on, Trading View, whenever you're ready. There we go. I'll be taking some notes around these areas right here because we have this downward channel with some base support, and also we have these two areas of support. So I'll be looking somewhere around this channel for a possible retest and possible retracement. And as we do something like that, just bear in mind that we're having a ton of liquidity rushing into this area, so be careful on that one. Let me just wrap it up to see what our indicators are telling us besides the one-on-one first analysis that we have going on. So let me get started with maybe Dynamics Pro. Let me see if Trading View wants to play out here with me. There we go, much better. Let me add these areas right here with my VPVR, and that will be giving me a ton of information. So let's just wait for it to load, and that will be it. So we can see a ton of liquidity being down here, but also we are rejecting right on our resistance. Look at that beautiful resistance playing out there. Again, we have negative outcome and more negative outcome. So but there's a possibility that we keep pushing upwards here, and then we do something like that, and then we retrace hard to somewhere around these areas. Again, possible reentry areas. As you can see, my areas were pretty neat based on what chart prep is calculating. So somewhere around 4.6, and also if we can make it breakthrough retest, we rise this volume and change the outcome from negative to positive, I'll be looking for a continuation with a huge rally to 10.84. So this is going to be my next possible area if we can break through, retest, and off we go. So again, only 604 will be my entry. If I break through with a big candle, go back, retest, find support on that area, and when I see FOR, flip of the ribbon, I'll be off to the races with that possible entry. So I'm going to be setting up two alerts, one right down here and the other one right above this area. Why? Because I see that I have some wicks in here, and I believe that is a good area of resistance to bounce from and going for that retest. So I want to get notified as soon as something happens on near, because I am I'm trying to hold a little bit more near, and I believe that we are not late to the party just yet. So turning it back to you.
Amazing. Every time as a Canadian I hear near, I go right into Celine Dion and start singing near, far, wherever you are. It looks great. Our favorite mod, I don't know if she's our favorite mod, but Alexandra G, she's a moderator in my channel as well. She asked for AERO USDT, so I'm going to go over that for her just quickly. We can see that we are in a big downtrend here on AERO USDT. It looks like it wants to pop up here, but right now you want to see a push above these highs right now. So AERO is holding support. That would be your support line here, right around 38 cents. And then if we get into the nitty gritty, as I like to call it, we can see that we are just consolidating sideways here. What I would really want to see is to take out this high here, retest, and then try to break out of this downtrend. Okay, so very cautious here on AERO. It looks like it's quite a new token. I haven't done any TA on this. So for me right now, you can see there is key resistance right here from previous consolidation, and then you're looking to break through that and continue on your way upwards. So for AERO, I would be cautiously optimistic and patient. I'm just wanting to see structure being formed to suggest that we are moving to the upside. Now, I also saw a Caspa request. Now, I know this community loves Caspa. I think OC loves Caspa too secretly. Do you love Caspa as well, OC? I'm just curious.
Absolutely.
Oh,
In
so
fact,
we
I'm
can see
not trading Caspa, but I'm holding it.
Yes. Okay, me too. Me too. We were buying down at 10 cents. So we're pretty happy. I know Piper was buying down at 4 cents, but you know what? 10 cents to me is pretty cool. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. However, we have retested the highs. Okay. So I always talk about this with retesting the highs. We've dropped down, we've come up. Now we've retested the highs, right? So this is a good sign for Caspa. But we can see that after that kind of dump, we haven't had the biggest V-shaped recovery as of yet. So how do we track this? So we can see that we have pushed up here. We are looking for a little bit of a breakout. But remember, Caspa moves pretty quickly when it wants to move. You know, you can see from previous history here, we don't have tons of history, but we can see a very big consolidation. Then the move happens, right? So for me, we've gotten up to a new level, right? This new level that we've hit up here. So what do we expect? Okay, we expect consolidation and then eventually the move, right? So we can try to trade this from these key levels of support here. It looks like we're finding key support here around 14.5 cents. And then we can also track this downwards momentum and look for the breakout there, right? So it's understanding where we are. We've V-shaped recover. We've chopped sideways. We're coming up. We have some key levels of support that we want to hold, and that's going to be right around this 15.5 area. And then if we do manage to break out of this downtrend, we look for that retest and continuation upwards. If not, we look for this 14 area to hold as support and eventually make those higher lows and higher highs and continue its work outwards, right? It does look like it's formed a nice body of support here, and you can see the momentum waves are suggesting we're coming back in. We would want to see the money flow come up as well on the higher term timeframes. It's looking a little bit suppressed after that little bit of a dumpola on Bitcoin, and a lot of these coins that haven't had like the narrative of AI and the narrative of the meme coins haven't had as aggressive as a recovery. So it looks like Caspa's trying to make moves back up to get within this range up here right around 17 cents. And that's what I got for Caspa. What else are you looking at, OC?
Oh, well, I see Crypto Trace. He's in the house. What is up, brother? And he said, I told you so with Solana. So let's take a look at Solana, because yesterday I was looking at Solana and we have somebody in the classroom that was hearing impedance, right? So we grabbed some node for him, and let's take a look at what we were looking at that area. So I know it's a little bit of a mess, so bear with me here. Nonetheless, it played out almost perfectly. Look at that. We were looking at these areas with a possible double top then it go all the way down, and then we were looking at this next recovery because we were right on this candle going for the retest. So we figure out that we have our first area of support right down here, and let me just clear this up a little bit. Here we go, so we can see it better where it comes from. Look at that, we have two resistances, two supports in here, and another three supports right down here. Now that we know, that we understand where our key support resistances, let's just get rid of that and let's just my spaghetti speak for itself. So if we lose this area, we're looking for the next FOR for the price action to support. So as you can see, I was looking at this area. If we were losing that area, I will gonna be looking for this next one. But if not, losing this area and flip of the ribbon, then bullish movement. There we go. We were looking for a flip of the ribbon. I was expecting it to be a little bit farther up into time. Nonetheless, it happened a little bit more quickly. And look at that, right to resistance where we were expecting it. So there you go, Crypto Trace. You were right, brother. Also, our analysis played out beautifully. Hopefully, you did jump into Solana. Just so you know, I did not set up my alerts and I did not caught it. So too bad, because I'm loaded and I'm expecting this kind of movements. And that's just to show that sometimes this is not Pokemon, right? You cannot catch them all.
You gotta catch them all, OC. Oh man, every time I say you catch them all, I'm just like, okay, here we go, here it comes. Oh man, I love Solana's had a beautiful move. We were, as a community, we were targeting this 149 area as well, so it's had quite an aggressive move up on beautiful V-shaped recovery, moving to the upside. I mean, it's beautiful to see. A lot of these tokens, man, a lot of the community is just smashing out. They must be learning a bunch of stuff from you guys, but we can see that we had that target as well. But that V-shaped recovery and then that aggressive move upwards, pretty impressive. But I'm gonna go over to Injective now. Injective. We talked about Injective and this beautiful narrative. It's up 10.5%. This day, and this is looking incredible. This is a nice breakout of this downtrend. It came up, it tested, it retested, it broke out, right? So beautiful move for Injective. We can see that we do have a couple of areas of support and resistance that I am eyeing up throughout my charts, just to have an idea of where we think this thing can go. So let's zoom out a little bit onto the 12-hour and let's see what we got. So we can see Injective here. Massive push. Okay, like this is a 2x almost, right? So massive push, massive narrative, right? So and like I said earlier, it has good history, right? So it's been around and it has the biggest market cap in the GameFi space. So what do we see here? I can see a bit of a cup and handle. I can see it looking like it wants to test these upper highs. So we can see the cup and handle here where it comes out like this, right? To the upside, that's a possible move. But right now for Injective, we want to see this taken out, right? So this is basically our big line in the sand where we want to see it get above and be holding it as support and then the continuation upwards. Right now, we're going to be patient because we don't want to be buying the tops, right? Like I bought some here and then I bought some down here. And I was just getting exposure, right? So for me right now, it's about being patient with these things. Sometimes they leave you in the dust and that's okay. I'd rather be patient and get a better average price than get dusted, right? So I always suggest getting exposure. So I got exposure when we came down here. I got a better buy-in price down here where I lump summed in. And now I'm sitting pretty, right? Because my average price is somewhere around here. So for Injective right now, I really want to see it break this support and then a continuation upwards. Right now, it looks like there's a big narrative for Injective and it looks like it could continue to push. We know the GameFi narrative is big. So for me, I'm just going to be patient right now. A little bit of a cool off and a reset after such an aggressive push would be welcomed back down to this 4160 level. So Injective, looking good nonetheless, but I want to go over AGIX because we didn't do AGIX and we had some targets as well here for AGIX. And the TA is working really well today, guys. We hitting these key levels of resistance. We hit OC's 38,000 on Bitcoin. Amazing, amazing. This horoscopes for men is working really good, man. So it's looking good. We're coming back up. We've touched this key level of resistance. $1.25. Massive, the sell off, the push back up, and the narrative continues to rock. Okay, and we had a buy zone down here. It continues to move forward. So with these AI pushes, right? Like render, I always identify previous tops, right? We get the previous tops, we make the top, we come back down, we make that higher high, right? We test that top, right? So I'm always looking for that retest of the top, and it typically happens quite often. So we like to put those probabilities, and that's where I look either to buy or to look for a possible long setup, right? You can also do fibs and stuff like that, but for me, this AI narrative seems to be running its course, and I don't think it's done yet. Do you got ALGO? Do you got ALGO, my friend?
Yes,
OC?
I gotta put up. Absolutely.
Let's look at ALGO. Dave Digital says he's laddering into Algorand.
All right, let's take a look at the algorithm right here. So we need to be very careful because we start having these wicks at the top, right? That is an absorption zone or a volatility zone. So we need to be careful there because usually that indicates that we're getting exhausted and or somebody is selling a ton of there. We're usually gonna be seeing something like an order block being there, or sometimes it is a shadow order block that happens to be there, basically. But I don't want to get into much into the shadows there. Let's just go to the TA strictly into TA. So let me start getting my support and resistances, my predictive ranges. Let's get started with my predictive ranges. So on my predictive ranges, you can see right here that I am, despite I'm breaking the previous high, what I see the VPVR, the POC, the money flow. Let me just limit the amount of data that I can see so I can analyze up to here and wait for this site volume profile to load. There we go. We can see that it's all the way up here, and right now we are hitting the golden range. There are two possibilities. We are prime score on 8, but also we have a consolidation score of 0. 0, it's a unicorn, so we are very bullish at this zone. We still have a little bit to go before we can start expecting maybe a flip of the ribbon, although we start seeing those absorption zones. So we just need to be a little bit careful in those areas. I'd rather wait for a breakout, clean breakout, retest, or just a rejection in this area, maybe some going somewhere around here. Let me again limit the amount of data so I can have my POC, my point of control of money flow. And there we go, somewhere maybe around that area or somewhere where I start seeing positive outcomes. So let's just extend it a little bit before I do my secondary movement to the upside. Again, because of this 0, we could be seeing a breakthrough, a retest on the golden one, and keep moving upwards. So at this point, it is just waiting zone because we are right at the resistance right there. And remember, you don't long resistances, right? So just wait for it to become support, and that will be a much better idea. Not financial advice, but if you're laddering in, well then remember that is DCA. Usually DCA goes the right way. Just be careful, spread your purchases, right? Do a responsible DCA strategy, and of course, try to manage your leverage if you're doing leverage DCA. But DCA should be performed without leverage. Again, not financial advice. So I want also to look for
Remix.
Alex, because we are at 5 minutes to end up the show. So yeah, so let's take a look at this one first. So remember, guys, that I'm sitting on a ton of cash at this point. I'm looking where to enter, and remember that we had this previous analysis. Right now we are having the flip of the reverse, some reversal, but right now we're hitting on support. Let me bring up some big tools in here, and we have a loud order block, which means I could be wicking back down this area and maybe going for that that pullback in here, which maybe and just maybe could be forming a head and shoulders, a very crooked head and shoulders, and inverse head and shoulders, and maybe going back up. All right. So right now I'm missing the let's say, I don't know, the left or the right shoulder. I don't know. Depends on what's your perspective, right? And then I am a little bit bullish, but I want to see a flip of the ribbon. I'm mainly bullish because look at the cloud. It's coming along with the zero lining here, which means that I could be having enough momentum to be back up on the game. Let me see if I can find a somewhat of an example, but no, it's just too late for that. All right, so that's what I'm looking at ARKM, because I'm looking at possible entry, just like I'm also looking at possible entry on SNX. So just to give you the heads up on that one, I'm looking for a possible movement here, breakthrough, maybe going back and keep pushing upwards there. So, yep, turning it back to you, Alex.
Awesome. Love it. Such good TA. They're talking about on my chart here, they're talking about a beautiful inverse head and shoulders on ALGO. I see it. Okay, this is looking pretty crazy. All the way up to 47 cents. That's pretty wild. I also saw JASMY over here and the 15-minute setup. I think Poyo gave this one in the Discord. Looking for the breakout here of this beautiful trend line coming down here. So some things are looking to pop off, looking to break those downwards trend lines. So a lot going on. But let's go back to the duo cam. And first and foremost, guys, Legendary Aviation Coffee down below. We all need to start our day with some good stuff. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We are here every morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys alpha. Normally, this is Piper's show, but today, this is my show. And tomorrow, this is also going to be my show. And Monday, Tuesday. So the Otter Gang has taken over. Throw some otters in the chat. It's always an honor and a privilege to show up for your friends and try to help them when they ask. So that's what we do here. It's a great community filled with like-minded people. Join the Discord, all that good stuff. OC, what are your parting words, man?
What is it? Once again?
What are your parting words when you're saying goodbye to Raw?
Yeah, I'm missing the signal hat. Sorry, I'm missing the signal hat. I'm losing signal there. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate your support, especially now that you guys held on with our technical issues. There you go. Look at that. Nice. I need to get me a prettier one. So remember to smash that like button. Also, take a look at the legendary coffee in the chart prime code that we have for you. So it's time to go raid another server. So the order.
Much love to you guys, man. So that's it. We got the hats. We wear multiple hats, but we are always honored. You guys have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll be here in the morning. Apologies for the internet. It happens sometimes, guys. Thank you for sticking with us, trying to bring you guys as much information as we always can. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys in the next one. And guess what? Use a dang stop loss, guys.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling up the wheels flow low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crunch crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling up the wheels flow low. Sound off to get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean.
That was awesome, dude!